So, hello everybody. So I will be the moderator about with this session. So after, yeah, it doesn't work. Yes, I have it. So after this interesting session regarding the needs of a city, what we can see is that cities in Europe and in the world are facing and will face a lot of, we can say, issues in the future. And these issues are quite similar. We can say some of them are similar depending on the cities. And this is why space is a tool particularly useful, because it allows to provide a scalable solution around the world. So this is why space is not the solution of a problem, but it's a brick of a solution. And this afternoon, we have the pleasure to have some companies that will pitch who are there, what are they doing currently, and, which is more important, what they have in their pocket for the future, links to their new sensors, new algorithms, etc., that are under development. And so before, we will have an introduction of a project, which is exactly what we discussed previously. The project is ready to engage public procurement between cities for developing innovation based on space data. And so I let Mark Pattinson to present shortly, because we are very short-lived project.
Thank you, Philippe. Can you hear me clearly? Good. And hopefully I'll use the right button. So I'm Mark Pattinson. I work for GAC Group, and we have the pleasure of coordinating this European-funded project called Protect, which I'll tell you a bit about. But as Philippe said, we've got this panel, and it's more interesting you hear this panel than me. But Protect is a consortium of partners, so not alone. Can I ask the Protect family who are in the room to stand up? Because if you want to network afterwards, you've seen Valentina from before. We've got Climate Kick, we've got Aerospace Valley. So you've got different connections in this project because we've tried to bring together those who understand the needs of the public procurement community. So the buyers of the Earth observation solution providers, the people on this stage. We've got European networks who hopefully can inform the same community of the challenges that lie ahead. We've got SMEs to also share some of their technology solutions. So we've got hopefully a cross-section of actors that can help formulate what will lie ahead. So what is Protect about? In a nutshell, one slide. So lots of information. I'm glad that you'll have these slides afterwards because you can follow the links. The first thing to sort of retain from this slide are the 5 priority areas that we agreed with the Commission that we will look into. So the project is structured around what you see here. Marine and coastal, we've heard a lot about flooding. Forestry, energy, you can read the slide. But what's the most important piece of information on this slide, and you are the lucky ones who stayed till the bitter end to listen to us, is, let's see if the laser works here. This CSA Protect is a preparatory action for the launching of a PCP, Pre-Commercial Procurement Initiative, Horizon Cluster 6, of 19 million. So the work we are doing is to prepare the magic trio, the purchaser, the data provider, and the Earth observation service provider for helping cities meet some of the challenges in a pre-commercial procurement context. PCP is about funding your very high TRL innovation research activity. So we are preparing consortia through the networking, through open market consultation, through meetings like this, and a big thank you to EARSC for allowing us to come and share progress, and to enable you, SMEs, you public procurement organizations, to get ready for the PCP. We heard earlier from DG Connect, Johan, who was telling us about other PCPs. For you, supporting and learning through PCP, and we've got a lot of free services and training for those who aren't familiar with this procurement tool, is important not only because cities such as Helsinki, we heard from Sami, from Valentina, from Harlem, they are using this tool increasingly to secure innovative solutions to their climate challenges. The Commission is using PCP not just in the space Earth observation areas, but in other DGs. DG Connect was the obvious one. So it's building the future for you. And looking onwards, you can read this one quietly at home, but our project objectives. If you imagine this, the three communities we're bringing together, and we're trying to develop services that help you understand the PCP, help you understand how to shape your procurement challenge, if that's your need, or using networks such as us to share the good news about this particular opportunity. Earth observation, as the previous panel said, the procurement experts on the front here didn't use it. Well, we are using it throughout as a way of connecting the different stakeholders, the different interest groups for this particular initiative. The links that are provided here, as you can see, this is probably the most interesting one, the survey link, is it's an ongoing e-catalogue to enable you, Earth observation providers, or service that could perhaps develop using Earth observation, to be identified and shared with the procurement community. So when you get this document, have a look at this link. And we have a very nice Protect community that's growing, that enables you to access all the free services that you will find on training, joining us on the open market consultations, sharing your own experiences of what pain points you may have faced in public procurement initiatives. So this is important that you link yourself into this community. Some of the early findings that have already emerged from the discussions with the public procurement, and this is where those who are delivering services, paid or free, you can say, it's interesting. Valentina talked about waste here. This one's about wastewater, and you can see they fit here. So the documents we produce are already a shopping list for the SMEs we have on the stage, but also a shopping list for you to say, we could help this particular challenge, we know which city is behind this, obviously, and help them identify innovative solutions that may be their solutions. We heard in the last panel the importance of mapping and monitoring flooded areas. We looked at the issue in the agriculture on the questions of water pollution, water salinity increases, and last but not least, some more innovative uses on how water can actually be linked to energy. This is just a selection, and it's very much up to the public workshops that we will deliver, because in our next stage of activities, which is important, really on this slide here, in the autumn, September onward, open market consultation is a key part of the pre-commercial procurement process. You as a buyer engage with the community of SMEs, of providers, and say, this is what we're thinking of doing. Have we got it right? Are the technology solutions already there? If they're not, how can we work with you? And through open market consultation, PCP, you work with a panel, a group of SMEs, and at the end of the process, the PCP, you select one that becomes your preferred provider. So these are the activities in the autumn which would be worth joining. And this e-pitching here is one of a number that we're organising at different events across Europe. This is my last slide, just to show you that we are trying to connect the procurement challenge, those who have the purse strings. We take the example from Excel. They said, well, how do we use our money? How can we, well, innovative procurement can get better value for money because it becomes much more targeted on meeting your climate adaptation needs. And they may not know, and he clearly said it, he's got a 122, if I remember correctly, action plan. Well, PCP allows you to go and interact and say, you could do this maybe differently with this new technology, and the PCP allows that process to be funded. Voila. Back to you, Philippe, as quick as I could.
Thank you, Mark. So now we will have 5 short presentations. I'm insisting on short, 5 minutes, because we are very, so I will be hard on the respect of the time, because we are on a hurry. And after that, we will give the floor to the room, and in particular, I will kindly ask to the town and that were in the previous panel to have an informal reaction about what you propose, of course, just to give some, to think about this in the preparation of a future project. So first, I let the floor to you for OHB digital. Sorry. Okay. I don't know which one.
Okay.
Green one.
Green one, okay. But it should start first, yeah, yes. Excellent.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah, thank you very much. I will try to be very short. My name is Daniela Ristich-Darant, and I'm coming from OHB Digital Services. We are part of OHB SC, which is a multinational technology corporation with a headquarters in Bremen, Germany. It is one of leading space companies, European space companies, which melts together several or number of specialized companies from space and aerospace industry. It has about 3,000 employees around the Europe, in 10 locations across the Europe. And it is divided in 3 business units as listed here: space systems, aerospace, and digital. The company I'm coming from belongs to the digital group of OHB SE that consists of 5 digital sister companies. And we are all developing individual solutions for our customers, exploiting our competencies from space. With digital, OHB SE has established a new business segment specialized in services, ground segments, and digital products marketed for institutional and commercial customers. And broadly speaking, our portfolio includes software and applications, data and analytics, and IT security. And within data and analytics, we are developing services based on Earth observation data and modern, among others, modern AI and ML technologies. And for purpose of today's panel or session, so I would like to present 2 services which are fit with pre-commercial procurement approach, the topic of Protect. These are services which are not commercialized, which we have started developing within 2 projects. Urban Green View, funded, just finished, funded within the ESA program Space for Urban Green, and City Climb Horizon 2020 ongoing project. So in Urban Green View, we develop Earth observation data services for the integration of urban green and monitoring of heat zones in a sustainable urban context. And among others, these services helps to monitor tree vitality at the levels of individual trees or at the green areas, then monitoring of urban heat islands, and also, what we heard from our stakeholders, very important, help to analyze the changes, the dynamics of changes of urban green and heat zones. In City Climb project, we are developing, or we have developed, generic, so open platform for city climate services for citizens and city administrations. And these services, among others, offer unique resolution, I think 100 meters resolution, advanced full physics weather forecasting, then heat and pollution warning, analysis of urban climate profiles, and also simulation of city climate based on Earth observation data. Both projects have been user-centric projects, so which means that we were supported by end users in both projects, and I maybe here would like to give more information because it's very in line with the previous session. Our experience in Urban Green, so ESA supported project, is that actually end user, which were cities from a rural area in Germany, so presented by city of Essen particularly, they contacted ESA, for possible cooperation with some industrial partner. And our experience there that they were very much informed about what could be benefits of Earth observation data. City Climb is classical Horizon 2020, so where it was a social challenges call, so where in the call, so whoever wants to apply for a project, in this case it was OHB, has to search for partners. And it is good from European Union when writing the calls for proposals. We are almost forced to contact end users, and then of course we then try to contact end users who understand what we would like to do together, try to convince them to find a way. So that is one way, and Protect certainly will help in this connection between the private sector and end users in this domain. Yeah.
Thank you very much. You keep the time.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I hope I could be
Let me invite Marc. I think you are second, yes.
Yes.
Marc Tandeo from Terranis. Le bitonio vert.
Hello. Yes, for these 5 minutes, I will leave my EARSC hat. I'm chairman of EARSC, but I am also president of a small company called Terranis. But I will take again the EARSC hat at the end. Don't worry. So just Terranis is a small company which I created about 9 years ago now. With some former Airbus managers as well. I was personally during 35 years in a big group called Matra, and then EADS Astrium, and now Airbus. And I was leading in it the Earth Observation Service division, which included the spot image and the Infoterra bodies. So I created this company for purpose, and the mission is to try to use Earth observation in general for basically bringing some support for preserving natural resources and developing the services for environmental matters. And typically we have three kind of segments. The first one is agriculture, then viticulture, and land management. So we have what is important is in the company a mixture of skills, which includes, of course, space data processing and image processing, but also agronomist and geomatics, because it's also important to know what we are talking about, or at least to try to know what we are talking about for the application. We are in Toulouse, and subsidiary in Santiago, and also present in Madrid. So very quickly, the kind of products in agriculture, indeed, we are focusing on optimization and indeed minimization of the intrants. Intrants mean nitrate, nitrogen, and also water, meaning we have operational tools now to help the farmers to minimize the irrigation water in order to preserve, of course, the water resource. Nitrogen, just a word, because I think it's important. Nitrogen minimization is not only a matter of preserving the quality of water, of course, not only a matter of reducing the cost for the farmers, but also to preserve to minimize the greenhouse gas effect, because just to remember that the protoxide d'azote is about 280 times more, not efficient, but the impact is about 280 times more than the CO2. So and the protoxide d'azote is coming only from the nitrogen application in the fields. So viticulture, in a view, is the same, to minimize the use of pesticides and also fertilizers in the vineyards. And I will talk a bit more about the Green City product, which is more specifically addressing the metropoles and cities, and which with the purpose of proposing and providing a tool to help the people responsible for land management in the city, first to better assess the current situation and also to compare it with the past. I think it's something which is important to recall, is that the satellite, the Earth observation with satellite is able to go back in the past in order to be able to compare the current situation with what was the situation 10 years or more ago. And that's sometimes very important. So we mix these Earth observation data, which are either Copernicus or very VHR data with the Pleiad, because sometimes we need more accuracy. And we mix that with meteorological data, with climato data coming from ECMWF, and also, of course, in situ data, including the demographic statistic and all that. And what do we do with that? We are, indeed, the purpose is to define together with the end users some high-level indicators, which gives, for example, the number of inhabitants which live at less than 10 minutes walking from public green space. That's the system which is now totally operational. I have here a list of metropoles. There are more which are using indeed the service. And I will just, if I may, end my speech with taking the EARSC hat just to highlight three issues I would like to highlight now. First, public procurement. Public procurement is really a breaking factor for this kind of service, because today the process for procuring this kind of service is very, very long in the metropoles. And we are talking about services which are between 50K and 80K. It's not a big monster, but despite of that, we have to go through a very long process. So, public procurement. Second, labelization certification, because it's clear, and that's been told several times by our end user or customers, they have difficulties to first to write request for proposal and to accept our products, and we need for that a kind of certification or labelization which can guarantee our end users that the service is qualified or have been validated. That's an important issue we will address as well. And the third one is collaboration. Collaboration, and that's more an action to us, meaning industry, because we know perfectly that we will never provide or propose this kind of service in Helsinki or without any Finnish partner, or in Milan without any Italian partner. So we have to organize ourselves, meaning the industry, in order to be able to merge and use our products on both ways in order to get the customer intimacy, which is absolutely necessary for this kind of service, because even if we are talking about almost a bespoke system, we need a certain level of customer intimacy in order to know what are the data available in situ, and also to tune and to fine-tune the indicators together with these end users. Sorry, thank you.
Thank you, Mark. Okay, so now I have Geosystem Hellas company.
Hello everyone, my name is Christos Kotopoulos. I'm CTO of Geosystems Hellas. And as I wait for the presentation to pop up, when we managed this presentation, I was really curious of what we could push inside these 5 slides. So I hope that the content that we put together would be in line with the session. Okay. So, who we are, GS8 is an SME established in Athens, Greece since 2009, and we already have 2 more branches, one in Athens again and one in Iraklio in Crete Island. We do have international collaboration, and we also have a minority shareholder with OHB. We also have a number of numerous R&D projects and initiatives with funds coming from European Commission through Horizon projects, through national grants and funds, and also we do have several ESA contracts in the context of Earth observation downstream, but also lately also in the upstream domain, and we also are qualified in various standards also with data management and Earth observation. So what our company currently offers in a very, very high level, I would be really happy and eager to discuss more directly with you in person, or you can find us, of course, via email or through our website. But in general, we provide added value services in the space market through dedicated and tailor-made applications from Earth observation downstream services. We also have a really good established commercial department in Greece and Cyprus, and we do operate in different other kind of projects, such as integration and fusion with IoT and smart cities. We also are resellers and consultants, again in Greece and Cyprus, for Hexagon Geospatial and Hexagon Airborne Solutions. And we offer through this software various services varying from photogrammetry and 3D mapping, city digital twin, through airborne mapping, remote sensing, as I said, and Earth observation downstream services, and various other engineering concepts. And we also have a really advanced, I can say, for an SME, R&D participation in the framework of Horizon, ESA, and national projects. So, as I said in the beginning, I didn't exactly know what I could push inside these 4 slides. So, indicatively, I have selected 2 applications that we can offer that are not just mapping or services from a simple data processing pipeline, but both of these solutions that I will describe come from a methodology that tries to harness, process, and finally visualize a series of different data deriving from IoT sensors and Earth observation. So, first, we can offer a critical infrastructure monitoring system. This is an holistic approach that, of course, deals with the analysis of time series multitemporal Earth observation SAR data that from which we can produce land subsidence and land movements throughout a specific critical infrastructure, either building, either an airport or a port or a big dam that is it's really vulnerable. And also, we can apply this methodology to linear constructions such as big highways. On top of that, we do have patented, we are in the process of patenting an oval corner reflector which can be integrated with GNSS and accelerometers, so we can validate these processes. Finally, also discussed in the previous sessions for Harmonia, we are in the position to provide an urban planning application which takes into consideration multi-temporal hazard analysis based on observation, correlates this information with in situ data and data deriving from census demographic in order to have the full capture and vision and image of a city and the urban environment, and then provide specific recommendation to specific building blocks in order to tackle the climate change effects. Thank you very much, and I'm open for waiting for the open discussion.
Thank you very much. So now the company is Latitudo 40, no? Okay.
Oh, well. Good afternoon, I'm Andrea Montieri and I represent my company, Latitudo 40. So as we know very well, because we spoke about it in the last panel, cities are at risk because of climate change, and so cities are trying to adapt against it. So cities or try to mitigate the risk made by climate change, or try to raise to zero emission in order to contribute to the fight. The problem with cities is that there are two problems, actually. The first problem is that they often lack the data, and without the data, it's impossible to act on what they want to do. The second problem is that also, if they have the data, they don't have the specialization or capability to actually understand what they're seeing, because, Earth observation is not easy, and often, especially small cities or small towns, they lack the expertise. They cannot do it alone. And as we know, small cities, small towns are also the most at risk because of climate change. That's where Latitudo 40 intervenes, because we try to solve both problems with our software. So we're a startup in the field of Earth observation, and our mission is to simplify the access to the information that are capable to help cities and help urban planners to fight and mitigate climate change. So how we do it? We take data from space, satellite data, satellite images, and then we transform it using our software, our algorithms, machine learning, artificial intelligence, and automatizing the process, and then transforming all these raw data in something that can be easily visualizable by our client, by the cities, by the urban planners, on our platform. So we make data easily accessible to our clients, and that's where is our strong point. We make something that is difficult, we make it easy to see, easy to visualize, and so easy to use in order to intervene and do actual stuff that matters. Okay, so as I said before, we take the data from the satellite data providers, then we transform it, putting on our platform that we are developing. We're actually developing two platforms between all the other things that we are doing, Urbalytics and Earth Data Place. Urbalytics, that is the more mature, the one of the two, is a platform where we can visualize all the info that the client needs at 36.5 degrees on what they need to do. For example, they can understand what the maps are saying about, I don't know, the urban landscape, the temperature on the ground, the albedo. They can see where the forestry is, the health of the forestry, and a lot of other stuff. And this data goes also in the past, because you can see the trend in the 8 years of the past. So you can see the history of the territories that they are actually watching at the moment. And they also see and compare fundamental KPIs on a weekly or monthly basis on what they're actually seeing. The other platform that we are developing is Earth Data Place. The idea is creating an archive that can be seen by people that want to have information, all the cities and territories that are interesting, and see their KPIs in their fight against climate change and on the status of their territories. So you can see this is taken from Urbalytics, and you can see on the right the different layers maps that we are using. In this case is the city of Naples, and you can see some of the layers that we have developed. It's not all of them, but you can see, for example, land use, land cover, tree cover density, parkour line that is very, very interesting, headway potential risk, another interesting stuff that we spoke before, and others. So our software is very, very flexible, okay? Both from a technological point of view and from a commercial point of view, okay? Because first we can develop more layers. We are developing more layers along the way, and we don't offer only all the layers to our client. If the clients want only few layers, the clients can have that. They want all the layers, also they can. So the offer is very flexible, and also we're developing it more, and so the client can really obtain all the information it needs from our platform and visualize it in this, like this, okay? So it's very clear and very clear to understand. Another trick in the hat that we have developed is our super resolution. As you know, there is a physical limit on what our satellite can see, in this case, Sentinel-2. So the user resolution is 10 meters per 100 meters, and through our software, we can reduce from 10 meters to 10 meters to 1 meter per 1 meter. You can imagine that it opens a lot of possibilities, because you can see the individual tree, the individual park, or for example, the cars inside the parking, so we can open to new possibilities. And that's very useful, especially both for big towns, big cities, but also for small towns. So our company is very good because, I mean, we have clients, we are growing, and our product is very interesting, in my opinion. So,
You're right. Okay, it's finished?
Absolutely.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. And the last company is Razdaman. Razdaman?
Yes, that must be me.
Yes, thank you.
Okay. So let's not fall down anything. You have a slight echo here.
You have to change
listening.
your...
And while I'm asking to get my PC on screen, I'm adjusting resolution.
I didn't know it.
And here we go. While that is coming, let me ask you something. I mean, we are not competing with what you've seen, all this magic that is deriving insights from the data, but where are your data? In what shape are they? Are they really ready for analysis? Is it effortless to manage them, to get in new data? And what if you want to have other data?
You don't have the same.
Yep.
Sorry, you cannot share from your laptop. We only can share from there so that people online can see it too. So I have your presentation, the one that was shared.
You send
Okay,
it.
that is a pity, but okay, nevertheless.
Okay, so you have to press the green button.
Yeah,
This one.
I will take this one. So, and when it comes to getting other data that you want to use, Sentinel data, for example, CLMS, etc., how easy is that? And what about Inspire readiness? This is our mission, to make life easy here and to get everything straight so that data become available and without the big effort that it took in the past. And here we come, cool. Okay. That is indeed something that I wanted to show. And as we talk about us, I'll come back to this funny name in a minute. We are a spin-off company that is coming from academia. So we have deep research expertise in the field of multidimensional data management. Raster data in the end can be 2D, 3D, 4D, 5D, and so on. And we are still working in close connection. Actually, I'm professor at a university, and so we stand on two legs. We have customers in both research, up to Alaska University, industry, Airbus Telefonica, for example, and agencies as well, like German mapping agencies, and that reaches up to the National Supercomputing Center of Taiwan. And we are active in European ecosystems. Oops, dangerous word, I've learned. Means different things to different people, and we are active in standardization. And what we have done actually has gotten a series of innovation awards. Now what is that? What are we doing? Data cubes. As I mentioned it already. And here comes the riddle again, rasterman. That stands for raster data manager, meaning that we manage raster data of any size, any volume, any dimensions, and we do that in a homogenized and standards conformant way. A lot of publications and patents on this. We are not doing that since yesterday, but since quite some time, so it's mature, it's operational. And if we want to talk about technology, then arguably the performance and scalability stands out, federation capabilities, distributed data fusion, security, and the strict use of open standards. If you talk about clients, how can you access your data if they are stored in rasterman? Well, bring along any client you want. Any client that also supports the standards can readily tap into the data. AI connectivity, we are adding in a European project. I had to mention it for the nice name, FairyCube. And actually, due to the optimization, for example, generating directly machine code from the incoming requests, it's really saving energy and costs, and hence CO2, so green computing. Good. What could we contribute? We help you manage your data yourself. So on the one hand, using public data that are available and that you want to tap into. Why should you want to download daily your Sentinel-2 data? You just take them from the Federation as if they were on your desk. I would have shown you that live, but I'm not allowed to. So actually, you don't need to download the other big data. On the other hand, your own data, you just drop them, and they become data cubes, and then you access them, and you can do seamless analysis in space and time, and mix and match them with the other data. You can do that on-premise, or we do it for you, whatever. And then all sort of analysis is available. With zero coding, now you don't have to employ a programmer for that. It's zero coding. And actually, then you can do, for example, the magic that has been described by the partner companies here. We are not only dealing with agencies, but also with research. Yes, research institutions also are customers of ours, and large-scale industry, as mentioned. And then there is the other opportunity. We already have a lot of data. 160 plus petabytes are readily available. Why should you want to download and store yourself? You just go and use them. And hey, maybe even you want to become partner of this federation of Earth server and provide your data to a large community that is stretching beyond Europe. And with a critical mass of different data, satellite, weather, thematic data, and your data, we can do even more exciting things and getting more insight. And with that, I would like to stop here. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Thank you to all for your presentation and the respect of the deal for the duration. Thank you. I know it's not so easy. Maybe, Mark, you can join on the panel. So we have a bit in a race, but we can take 10 minutes maybe to ask if they would like to the town representative about what they think, how they react, not necessarily on the detail of the presentation, but more on what that came in their mind after this presentation. Do you agree to have a brief feedback or reaction? Yes? Okay, so maybe we have to use this. I don't know. It works. I don't know. Yes? Okay. No, it works or not?
No, yes. So thank you so much. It was very interesting to hear about the different solutions. I have a question to the panelists. Would it be possible to give a concrete example of the impact of the delivered solution by the public authority? So it could be KPI, it could be in fact something from fact sheet like they delivered more this or that. So was really wondering about more concretely example.
Short answer for each of you in some...
I think I can speak without...
Oh,
Yeah,
as you want.
I stressed by...
Yes.
Yeah, online, okay. I stressed by purpose our connection with end users because we were really happy that we had cities during developments. And then we learned what is actually important for cities, not for us. So one point was they are not interested in having data, maybe, if they want to be included in some research or something, they want extracted, for them, data are extracted information from images. So how do we process and what we do is also important. User interface is important. So it is always custom-made user interface. And one KPI, okay, to provide the data which tells cities if there is a green area which is removed because of some building, and there is then compensation green area to monitor whether that measure of compensation brought something or not, so to historically monitor. But the most important KPI is also whether there is a saving for public authorities in using our tools. Not only whether we get better possibility to model the climate change, to model what would be the impact of if I do that building and put the green roof or green, I don't know, area, how will that impact? But also whether there is a saving for public authority with respect to what is now. And that was one of the main focus in our work, to prove that there is a saving. I hope the answer.
Thank you very much for this.
Thank you. Someone else would like to give a very short and precise answer.
Yeah, just 3 examples. The first one in the metropole of Toulouse, just the service has been used to define the végétalisation plan of the metropole. They had the plan and they used indeed our tools to give priorities to some areas with respect to other ones. Another example is in Paris, where the tool is used today to modelize what could be the impact of some specification in some changes in some areas in terms of potentially temperature as felt by the inhabitants. So that's ongoing. We have to be careful with that because we are at the limit of the feasibility, to be honest, but the typical use that we are targeting. And the third example, it was in the department of Seine-Saint-Denis, which is not very green, to be clear, for those who know it. And the tool has been used to discuss with the citizens themselves in order to demonstrate what are the current situation and what are the targets as defined by the political people in the department in order to improve the situation in terms of végétalisation of the department.
Okay,
Really quick. In my opinion, the best KPI is the actual usage of the solution. So if the end user, the public authority, the customer uses a solution, is an indicator that it somehow benefits to the problem. I strongly believe that given the fact that we have a plethora of data nowadays, we do have really good and state-of-the-art technologies, we can make tailor-made services for the public authorities and the end user and to the non-experts, EO experts, to make such services that will be usable, user-friendly, and would be a good added value to society at the end of the day.
But what they achieved exactly, just an example, through your tool.
It depends on the domain. Climate change mitigation. The climate change effect mitigation is one of, it's a directive that we need to push in the upcoming years, in my opinion.
Another answer from your side, maybe?
If I can do an example, we are working with the Italian electrical company, Terna. It's not about urban planning, it's about public infrastructures, but it's very similar. So they have a problem, obviously, with checking all the electrical lines that are they are everywhere, and sometimes they don't work, obviously. And they need to check, they have sensors, so have an idea, they don't exactly know where they are, so they usually check by hand, obviously, to see exactly where the problem is. And often the problem is made by greenery, by bushes and plants that grows too much and blocks the electrical lines. So we're using our software in order to check exactly, comparing with the past, where the greenery actually is growing, and we can do that because, as I said before, and so they can actually understand where the problem could be and intervene. And also because, obviously, if the electrical lines don't work and they're near to the greenery, they could catch fire and burn down everything, and that's not good for a city. I mean, so that is.
Okay, thank you. So you want to have some concrete figures. Use case, DLR. Big data provider, many users. Their typical turnaround was 2 weeks until the users got to grips and had exactly the data they wanted. And with the help of Rasterman, it got automated, less inquiries, and it got reduced to a few hours. Use case Telefonica, radio networks planning for the full of Germany. They had similar in the ballpark of about a week to write some particle analysis that management requested. And now with a query, it is a few minutes. Deployment. Look at your favorite provider. How long does it take until you sign the contract and then you get everything running? We guarantee you have it up and running as a basis for after 1 month.
Okay, thank you. A question, yes, from your side.
I would actually like.
You have to press, I think, no?
Okay. No, it's working. I would actually like to comment on what I heard and experienced over the past 2 sessions. I think the good news for you in the urban sector as the end user is we have at least. Oh. Can you? No.
Want to take mine?
I don't know.
Okay, this may be dead.
No.
Okay. I think the good news for you as in the urban sector as end users is that we now from these industries have at least 2 I wouldn't downplay anybody else, but at least 2 very operational examples that we have operational solutions for you to use. Next to the agroforest sector, I would say that urban applications, urban remote sensing, is likely the most matured sector, matured part of the overall Earth observation sector. So I think it's ready for you to just jump in. We've had numerous examples, like you just said, the Ruhrgebiet was one of your customers. The Kommunalverband Ruhrgebiet that actually pioneered the use of Earth observation, satellite Earth observation, to plan climate sustainable urban development since 1982. That makes 40 years. So we have 40 years of experience. What I would like to suggest is 2 things. That we, A, go back and see what has been done over these 40 years, the lessons learned, and make that kind of a harmonized standard. Spread the news to all the cities that we have in Europe, and all of a sudden we will be climate neutral much more easily. Secondly, I think we also have to broaden our view to 2 areas. One is not just look up into space, but include airborne sensors. A lot of what has to be done is not only the resolution, but it's the time of flying, the angle of view, what we need. We have to go multi-sensor, and we have to include in situ model, in situ data. And then the next step of broadening our views, and this is actually a question of mine to the Earth observation value adders. How much are you in contact with specialists that provide the next downstream part of the game, which is modeling and simulation. When it comes to urban climate, just trying to use a thermal image and say, okay, well, that's the heat island, is a complete misconception. We have to study the whole energy balance, the radiation passes, the emission and absorption, reabsorption patterns. Urban areas are likely to contribute the most to climate change that in the world, but we can mitigate this also the most effectively by doing this. What it takes is climate models. These do exist. These are operational, especially for the urban sector. What we have to do is combine, it's not what can Earth observation do for urban, but how. And the how lies in the next step downstream, further in modeling and simulation. And the question is, how far are you in contact? And would it be possible to form consortia, to have this end-to-end, very last mile, down to the end user information that you can readily apply, immediately apply in a digital twin that is more than just a 3D model?
Thank you very much. So I think Mark has a question as well, because we have just the time for 2 questions more.
Mine's going to be a very quick invitation. I mean, Protect is a very practical CSA-orientated project. And I think if I just take your example, Daniel, of you've got some services, you've got end users. I would encourage you to go back to Essen and say, look, we need some more research and development work on this. Go to a PCP. It couldn't be the Protect one, but I think that all of you have your end users, and we saw 5 examples, to turn a nice panel into something that gives you value and enhances the services you've got. Then I think looking at all of your clients who want to work with you to find new solutions that are TRLs, 5, 6, getting them to 7, 8, for me is a good step. And I think all of you have examples, Mark, you talked about Toulouse, and what's the next step for all of your services that can make a real difference to the challenges that Valentina can then move forward? So it's not a question, it's more, it's action now, and there's an opportunity for funding PCP, but there are many other ones. So.
Thank you, Mark. Do you want, so Helsinki, yes. Priority to the town, sorry. Yeah. Okay.
Hey, Sami from Helsinki again. Actually, Mark said quite a lot what I was supposed to say about the PCP. Like, it was mentioned a couple of times that you are applicable already for PCP. I think all of you are. And if you think that you already have a product, you have something in the pipeline, something new, it's definitely PCP material. So give that a good consideration. Another point that was mentioned or hinted a couple of times was towards the data economy and from city perspective, that means that a question to you: are you open for new types of business models, kind of shake up that traditional procurement model, that the public procurement model that we do in cities, which means that for example, we don't buy something, invest in the data, buy it, own it, sit on it, maybe share it, but instead use data marketplaces, we buy access to it and so forth. Because that's something that we as cities need. Are you open for that?
Okay, thank you. Do you want to give another short answer? Yeah.
May I? Just as a direct response, the short answer is yes. Very much willing to do that. But here is something, thank you. Here is something that I wanted to suggest. Don't just buy something. Don't look at a lot of slideshows like today and then make your decision. PowerPoint is a very powerful tool. It can tell you anything. Make a short list and then let those shortlisted ones sing and dance for you. Give them a small task that is representative and see how they solve it. And then make a decision on something that you have really seen in practice and working. My 2 cents.
Thank you very much. So now you have to stop. I just will make a personal remark. I have a right because I'm a moderator. So my remark is that you are all offering some solution with your own platform, etc. So I imagine for a town and people who would like to exploit this data, the fact that there are a lot of way to present the information, etc., could be an issue. So my remark, which is not a question because we don't have to discuss, it's there are a lot of initiative about, for example, digital twins, etc. And it's what about to include that your services in digital twins to allow to towns to have a kind of unique interface in which you can address different problematic, different simulation and so on, but with, we can say, a common interface. So I don't know if some people are working on that on this area, but I think it could be a way to improve the adoption of these things by users, because it needs to be much more unified and simpler.
If I may use 1 second, everything is possible. I suppose that all will agree from industry if we get in contact with possible user. And one possibility with in our experience was that we actually, they already had simulation model in digital twin, so then they ask us to improve the input data. Okay. So once we get in contact with end users, it is, and product is one way, it is easy to agree on what do we need.
Okay, so we have to stop. Thank you to the speakers. Thank you for...
and thank you to the moderator.
Thank you, okay. Thank you to Mark. And see you soon.
Thank you.